I think to be in this point when you're with someone and not always having to talk or converse just reminds you of how comfortable you are with that person.
That was a hoot! What is poppin', everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Raucous Modern Life podcast, a lifestyle show which features conversations with some of the most interesting and inspiring young adults living here in the Philippines. The purpose of this show is to educate the listeners and myself about different hot topics in Filipino society and culture while providing quality kalokohan. Let's get to it. Today's episode is brought to you by Sonified. If you're someone like me who's always wanted vinyls for the room as decor but could never really afford a vinyl player, there's this new product that solves this problem. Sonified, known as the modern vinyl, brings you premium acrylic plaques of your favorite albums right to your doorstep. Each plaque has a unique soundbar that you can scan using Spotify to play your favorite song or album. Sonified plaques add music and flavor to your room by spicing things up with the best album art and tracks. If you want to order your own plaque, you can find Sonified on Instagram and Facebook under sonified.ph or text them at 0905 493 3715. That's 0905 493 3715 for Sonified. Now, let's get back into the episode. What's poppin', everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Raucous Modern Life podcast. Today's guest is someone that I hold very dear to my heart. It was a guest that a lot of people were anticipating, but I wanted to save it for my later episodes. So, she is a first year med student in the De La Salle Medical and Health Science Institute, played football for 15 years for La Salle, has been one of my closest friends for the past 8 years, and has been my boo for the last 5. It is my pleasure to introduce you all to my Jowa, Mikee Atayde. What's up, Mikes? You're finally on the show.
Hey! I know, right? All my fans have been waiting for this moment.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I
Uh-huh.
mean, you've been sharing my episodes since day one, and we have a couple of friends that were asking about this episode to happen, and it was very much hyped up. So I only hope that we live up to it, I guess.
I know, right? Kakahiya naman if we don't.
I know, right? Well, we're going to try our best, and this is like the first podcast that we're ever doing together, so it
Mm-hmm.
should be an interesting one. All right. So if you're ready, let's get into this. All right.
I was
So,
waiting for the I was waiting for the let's get into the meat of the show, but I
oh,
realized that's later pa pala. Go on.
yeah,
I'll let you do you.
you gotta start off with the way that I always do. So, although we very well know what's been going on each other's lives, for the sake
Mm-hmm.
of the pod, I gotta ask and start it as I always do by asking the question: What's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
So,
I
Mike's,
know, right?
what's
So,
poppin'?
um, not much you don't know, but you already mentioned it earlier. So I guess to all the listeners out
For your
there,
fans,
I've
for your
been in
fans,
fans pala, my
fans,
fans.
your
Hey mga
fans.
best. To all of you. I've been in med school since August. I started school, yeah, during this pandemic. And as what Rocket said, I'm studying in LaSalle yet again.
Yeah, animal for
Pretty much it.
life.
That's pretty much it. Not much has changed.
Yeah, so like I guess no shows other than med school because I mean med school is a fucking grind and I personally would know even though I'm not in med school like
Yeah,
I just know all of the work that you're putting in and you don't really have much time for other shows and stuff but you know
I
it
know.
was just it was just the Undas weekend last weekend so I guess for the people that don't know how did you spend your long weekend?
I went to the beach.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I went Friday, was it? Of course, after my class. And we kind of endured the typhoon in Tally Beach. It was pretty lit. We actually had no electricity. And I honestly have a hard time seeing at night, so it was very, very hard. But I enjoyed because of course I was not in Manila.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's always better when you're out of town and like you said, you have a hard time seeing it light, and I think that's kind of a thing for people with light eyes. Like, I don't know, for any of you
Yes.
listeners that have light eyes, I don't know if it's like a evolution thing wherein, like, maybe in
Lush.
the Nordic countries it doesn't get as dark as for as long. So maybe like you're
Nordic.
Nordic,
You think I'm from that? Wow.
Scandinavian,
Oh, I'm so
Norwegian
kidding.
from Norwegia.
Oh, yes, from Norwegia.
Yeah, but
Who's the guy from Timmy Turner? The one, Ga.
Ga, Ga, the Norwegian
Ga.
supermodel.
Kapatid ko yan. Kapatid ko
Oo.
yan.
Pinsan naman, pinsan. Kilala ko
Oh.
naman yung mga kapatid mo.
Well, sa bagay.
Pero yun, like you said, I mean, I was with you in the beach, and the
Mhm.
entire of Sunday when Typhoon Rolly, Biga Brand,
Rolly.
Rolly. Basta when it hit, it was like really strong in Batangas because the eye was more towards the south, diba? And
Mhm.
it was just really intense. Like we were brown out for almost 24 hours, and it super malas because that was the day that we decided we wanted to get work done, and we were super unprepared when the brownout hit. Like all of our gadgets were like at 50% pa, and
That was horrible.
yeah, it kind of sucked. It kind of sucked, but
That was bad.
yeah, it was kind of a hassle. We had to use
No.
like our laptops to charge our phones and appliances, and super first world problems, like to be honest. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's what happened, and it was nice also though, like to be kind of disconnected, I guess, from electronics. It was a nice break,
Yeah.
but it's also nice to see at night. So
It was a struggle.
it was a
It
struggle,
was
right?
a struggle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so I mean, that's great to know that you've been grinding out in med school. I did a whole episode with Sandro earlier on the
Mhm.
intrinsic parts of being in med school, and how to balance that out. But
Mhm.
the name of this podcast, you already know what the topic is, which is more of like towards our relationship, which much of you
Mhm.
guys have been asking. So I guess we should get it. Like, okay, fine. You want to say it? The meat of the show? You want to say it?
No, no, no. You say it. I'm shy na.
Why? Na siya
Oh,
bigla.
yeah. I might say it wrong. Just do it. Follow your flow.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. All right, so let's get into the meat of the show. So, as you guys know, Mikey and I have been dating for about 5.5 years now. So, I guess for our listeners to kind of get to know us a little bit better and like our origin story, why don't we start off with the story of how we came together? So maybe, ooh, wow, that's some trippy graphics and very sensual. Nice pick dubs. But yeah, like so let's start off with the story. How about I give my part first, and then after that you can give your perspective of how we ended up coming together. Does that sound good?
Okay, that would be better.
Okay.
Actually, I was scared. What if I said something wrong, man?
Nah, nah, nah.
So go lang, go
I
lang.
mean, we
I'm
both
here.
had different perspectives, so it will be pretty
Yeah.
interesting to see
Tama,
how
tama.
both pans out. So let me give you all a little introduction. So a little bit about me. So I studied in a very small school called Maria Montessori Children's School Foundation Incorporated, or Monte, in Parañaque until grade 7. So I studied there for about 6 years. And although we were a co-ed school, each batch only had about 15 to 25 students. So you can only imagine like even if it was 50-50 split, like at most you're gonna have like what, 12 girls in your batch, and it's pretty crazy. And so with that, I guess you could say that my socializing skills with girls were subpar, to be nice.
I was about to say poor.
Yeah, subpar na lang, to be a little bit kinder to
Sige.
myself. But yeah, so they were subpar, and it wasn't the best. And it probably didn't also help that I was quite on the larger side, a chubby kid growing up. So my insecurity stacked up with my lack of social skills. So I guess bottom line was I was not very good at talking to girls in general. So fast forward a bit to my freshman year in high school. So I moved to Ateneo High School, and huge school, but still no girls. So my social skills were still not very good, and 14-year-old me enthused with testosterone for the very first time, wanted to experience the thrill of socializing with females, and maybe one day, you never know, get a girlfriend. And luckily for me, I had a cousin named Kinito who just moved to De La Salle Zobel. So, wow, co-ed school, La Salle, Alabang pa. So, South Chicks, baby, diba? Solid. So I was like, yo, Q, pa-intro naman to some of your friends and to expand my social circle and I guess develop, my social skills with girls as well. And he was talking to this one girl in BBM who happened to be his classmate, who I found cute. So I told them, cute, tell your friend naman that I said hi. So they were chatting, naka-BBM pa. And then I said like, uy, hi. And then siya naman, as a girl who studied in a co-ed school her entire life, was like, what's new? So we chatted for a bit, like, little like, what's up? WYD, you know what I'm saying? And okay, so that's the story of how we informally met officially for the first time. So yeah, kind of confusing, but it was over the phone, halatang millennial lifestyle. And then it was not until about maybe second year high school where we actually physically met in a party. So ako naman the shy type, I was like, hey, do you remember me? And cousin of Q. And then yeah, so she did naman, and we chatted for a bit, and her openness really got the wheels turning because she knew how to converse with boys already, and ako naman as a person that had a hard time talking with girls, she made like the conversation flow very easily, and it was going well, and it was a good conversation all up till her boyfriend came along, which was fine by me though because like just having a pretty girl talk to me for over 15 minutes was already a dub in my opinion, like score. So yun, so we were good friends for the next couple of years and only got closer as the years gone by, and mind you, we were strictly platonic on her point of view. So there was no doubt that I already had like a little bit of feelings towards her, but I always thought that she was like out of my league. So I never really took it as an opportunity to capitalize. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and like at the same time, Speto naman. I knew her boyfriends personally too. They were my friends as well. So I didn't want to be a home wrecker naman. So as much as possible.
Disclaimer,
Uh,
disclaimer,
let's hear it.
disclaimer. First of all,
Okay.
I actually, legally speaking, did not have any boyfriend.
Okay, legally, but then we can get.
Legally speaking,
Ano gusto mo?
because
MU?
it was really like of that levels though. It was really just going out. There was no
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
labels. You know how it was. Co-ed, no labels. Still,
Okay,
we
fine.
got real.
Basta
You know,
you're Shota. Pwede ba yun? Shota.
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 I vibe MU more na lang. MU
Yeah,
yung ka MU
MU.
ko.
Ka-MU. Basta yung mga ka-MU mo.
Yung
Like,
mga boy lalo.
mga boy lalo.
Boylets.
Kilala ko naman sila.
Boylets.
Boylets. Okay, that's appropriate.
Boylets.
And
Yes, I
yeah, so
vibe.
like,
Okay.
speto naman, I didn't wanna be a homewrecker, so I kept my distance naman. And like
Homewrecker.
I tried I made the point that I didn't wanna like, flirt or anything, and also not like I knew how to flirt at the time, so so yeah, like it was just like really platonic on that side. So yun, so I guess we were best friends until like senior year, and I was there as a male consultant for other boylets ATM. But then it was senior
Yeah.
year, and then for the first time in a long time, the two of us were actually single at the same time. And well, I
First
was
time,
I was
hey,
always single.
first time in a long time.
Hey, I mean,
Don't make me look bad.
I'm just saying you had
God. I know, I know,
you
I
had
know,
only
I
like a
know.
couple of months where you were single, and yeah, it was just not M2B at the moment. So yun, so it's a senior year, and then at this
Mm-hmm.
point, I kind of gave up on that slim chance that we'd be together. So for me,
Yeah.
it was pretty platonic na, and sa
Mm-hmm.
wakas nakapag-move on din ako. Pero I don't know if it was the timing of this whole situation or if it was because I lost about 20 pounds also. I'm pretty sure that, may played a factor into it. But parang I started
Mm-hmm.
getting the vibe that, this girl kind of liked me too. And so yun. So long story short, I guess after an intoxicated night in Mikey's after grad ball, I finally got the courage, with help of my dear friend Jose Cuervo and my other friend San Miguel, I got the courage to make amen to her, and yeah, we've pretty much been together ever since. What's your side of the story, Mikey? Does that sound
Okay,
fair?
first,
It sounds fair, naman. I
it
mean,
did, it did, it did. I mean,
that's my
I
perspective,
wasn't.
Muga.
No, no, I know. I wasn't gonna get into full on detail actually. Like, I didn't really bring it all the way back to like BBM. But you know what? Sure, let's go there. So I studied in Isabel, LaSalle ever since. I don't know. I think around 20 plus years. I don't know if I'm including med school now, but I've been in Isabel ever since, and I kind of just live around dudes, so it was never really hard for me to converse with guys. And yeah, when Kinito moved, and I remember that was the day the school was like, "Oh, Mikey," and shout out to Christina, she was there too. Mikey and Christina, um, help these two new students, like look around the school, like show them around. So it was Q and Toas,
Mm.
and I remember
See Eric.
I yes, okay. See, I had no clue that Toas's name was Emilio, and I was like, Chris, it starts with an E. And we were too shy to ask Kenita. So for like at least a month, I was thinking Tuasan's first name was Eric. And I'm pretty sure he remembers that.
Yeah.
But I just never said his first name. But anyways,
Tuwasan na lang.
I actually don't think I called him anything but like, yo, dude.
Hey,
Like a
bro.
plain stuff.
Hey,
Sup,
you.
bro? Yeah, probably. Yeah, just probably like that. Or like I'd go up to him and tap his shoulder lang, whatever. So yeah, same story. You messaged when I was chatting with you on BBM. I remember I had my BlackBerry Curve at that time.
Yeah.
Grade
Cool
7
kids.
grad gift.
What's up, BBM?
Yeah, but no, I think the most significant moment, Seguro, was when you texted me and I didn't know it was you.
Oh, really? I don't remember this. Can you shed some light on this? Actually, don't
Okay.
remember this at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I remember it
zero.
so well because someone texted me and he goes, "Hey, Mikey," and I was like, "Hi, who's this?" And then you're like, "It's Rocks," and I was like, "Rocks," and I thought it was Rocky
Yeah,
Plaza
yeah.
because I only knew the South people, so I was
Hmm.
like, "Rocky?" question mark, and then you were like, "No." Rocket. Then for a while, I had to stop and think because that South party that we met, well, we formally met.
Yeah,
I was not like at a good state that I was confused between you and Radito, if you
yeah. Cause
recall.
yeah, I remember
Like
that.
name wise.
'Cause we
Name
both
wise. I
start with
remember I was
R.
like, that's why, and I was just so out of it. I was
Both
like,
kind of
Roque,
weird names too.
Radito. Yeah, it was very new to me, but then again, I think Ganita's like also an interesting
Yeah.
name, so it wasn't not so far off, but
Hmm.
I was just probably not thinking straight. So yeah, that was another addition, I guess, to how we started talking. You texted me because I
Okay,
think at that point
I
we
slid
moved.
in pala.
Yeah, you slid in, but it was
Good
I.
job.
I
Good
mean,
good job, Bass Roca. You know,
that was
come a
like
long way.
post BBM, post
Post BBM
BBM,
na.
post BBM naging
iPhone
iPhone,
4.
but like yes, those levels. That's why we couldn't BBM na. It was
Yeah.
all through text.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, and I don't remember that being second year. I remember that being first year, but whatever, same, same. But if anything, the story is more or less the same. Actually, I think I added here. I recall taking shots and just calling you Radita a lot. Sorry, Rads. Yeah, and
It's confusing.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much it. Like that's how I think a clincher also was our proms. Or no, the date my I was your date the ball, remember?
Yeah. No, the prom, the prom. Not
Prom ba
ball. We
yun?
didn't
Prom.
go to
Oh, ball,
ball.
yes.
Yeah, we went to Fuego
Ball,
instead.
that was a
Yeah.
significant
That was
night
a
as
significant
well.
trip as well. Yeah, in our relationship as
Yes.
we really started getting
Yeah.
close. But yeah, we were really best
That was
friends, and I asked her to prom because, like nothing mischievous. I just wanted to have a good time. I didn't have a girlfriend at the moment. I wasn't really courting
mm-hmm.
anyone either, and I just wanted a good time. And yeah, we had some fun in Ateneo, but we were it was funny because we were super hyping up the after party, and we were like super excited to go into the after party, and then
uh,
So, a bunch of high school kids. We went to Hive
Yeah.
Ata in Fort Bonifacio. Yeah. So we
Hi.
were like getting
Hi.
ready. We pre-game pa in Marco's house and then started getting a couple of drinks down so we wouldn't have to spend so much. And literally, like, two group of girls before us, I mean, we were all underage. So, I mean, yeah, this is kind of like
Yeah.
under the radar stuff, but we were all underage, so everybody made pagawa their own sort of fake ID, whether it was a
Yeah.
driver's license fake ID or like mine from Power Station, premium member card, and I just made myself 18 years old. But yeah, the two groups in front of them got caught, so we didn't even end up getting to go to that after party and ended up just chilling in Marcus' house, which was also really fun and memorable, though, in my opinion.
Yeah. I still got sabog naman. Like
Yeah,
I was pretty
it wasn't
screwed.
lit, but it was a lot of fun
It
and
was
very
red.
memorable.
It was
Yeah, very
yes, if anything.
yeah. Speaking of memorable moments, I guess we'll
Mm-hmm.
move on to my next question, which is what was the best moment in our relationship so far? So it could be a singular moment where that we spent together, or just doing like multiple moments of doing the same thing that just is relevant for you. So since I started the last question, why don't you take this one?
Okay, so I was thinking about this, and I really can't say that there's one significant moment because there are many moments that, of course, I find memorable. But if there's anything, especially as of late, I do appreciate those times where, like, we're hanging out for, like, let's say the whole day, we're doing our own thing. Sometimes we're just in silence, and I'm just like, oh, this is pretty, like, like when it's just idle times and we're both thinking of like two separate things. I always think, like, wow, I think to be in this point when you're with someone and not always having to talk or converse just reminds you of how comfortable you are with that person. So yeah, it just kind of made me think, like, this actually happens more frequently. Is that the right thing?
Yeah,
Frequently.
yeah.
It happens frequently, and I think those are memorable, or like maybe the best, not the one of the best moments in our relationship, especially nowadays where we can just sit and be tired and just not do anything.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great choice because for any of you guys who don't know, Mikey and I are very lazy people. Um, like I think for our first year together, we were trying to do a lot of activities. Going on a lot of adventurous dates or like pakute. But after maybe like what the 2.5 year mark, we just realized we're simple. We just like to chill, be in each other's presence, whether it's watching
Mm-hmm.
Netflix or even doing our own personal things, but just being around each other. It's just nice because, like we said, we're lazy and we just love to eat. So you can do both of that things at home. So, and it's free pa. You don't need to pay for anything. So, yeah, I mean,
I was
that's a
just
great,
about to say that
yeah,
it's free.
yeah.
Need
And
to, you don't need to
yeah.
spend for what we do.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And yeah, I think we've reached that point in our relationship wherein we can sit in silence and it doesn't feel awkward at all because we know that
Mm-hmm.
we're, doing our own thing and I guess through communication we know what, I mean, we may not know what the other person is thinking, but like at least we can kind of feel when, you know, we need to be in silence for a while, just to
Mm-hmm.
do your own thing, think about your own things, like work on your own stuff, and that's completely fine. It shouldn't be an awkward thing. It shouldn't be like
Yeah.
something to be taken badly, like, oh, we never talk anymore. It's not like that. Like, we need to be in silence,
you didn't
diba?
you didn't tell me you went to the bathroom. I was waiting for so long.
Oh, SMH, bruh. But yeah, I mean that's a great couple of memories, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's majority actually of what we do most of the time that we hang out. We just like either chilling in my room or your room, watching Netflix, or I mean now it's a lot of studying on both of our parts, and yeah,
Yeah.
but
Playing a lecture video on the side,
yeah, playing a
pretty
lecture
much.
video and then pausing it and just going, "Ugh." Fuck this
or
shit.
like, or no, my favorite is the, are you on your break? Yeah. Okay, cool. Then close
Yeah,
this
I'm on the
iPad.
break also. Yeah, it's the best. It's the
Yeah.
best. No denying
Mm-hmm.
that. But yeah, so that's a great memory. I think for mine, I have a little bit more of a specific choice. So this
Okay.
was back in our US trip back in 2018. So Mikey and I both were in the US for a bit. Crazy how we were able to pull that off, no? Like
It still amazes me
we've
up to
we've
this
never
very
been
day.
out of the country together. Like we've been on a couple of domestic trips together, but like yeah,
We just jumped it.
we just jumped went
We
straight to the
we
US
jumped
and
Asia. Like we just went from the Philippines. Oh, let's just go to States.
yeah. Well, cuz like I was
Damn.
planning on going to the States for a while and you knew
Uh-huh.
that too. So I guess you kind of
I
like
did.
influenced like a little like I don't know what the term to put it, but you started putting that idea into your mom's mind like, "Yo, let's go to the States."
Well,
We wanted to go to the
actually,
States.
yeah, I was pretty good at that. I was
Yeah.
conditioning her for a
Yeah,
bit, but that's because
conditioning, that's the
my
word.
psych. No, because my visa was about to expire, and I kept telling my mom like, "Yo, I totally have to go at least for like a week or two." And then I remember she was saying, "I don't know when. I'm so busy. I don't know when." And then when you mentioned that you were gonna go, I was like, "Okay, this is like the perfect
This is it,
thing
pansit.
ever." Yeah, and I remember when I told them that you were gonna be there, and then they were like, oh, this instead of like I don't know. I'm not saying like all parents are like strict, but I just expected a very strict answer, but I got the oh great, someone's there to make you bantay. That's perfect. And I remember I was just like,
Huh?
cool.
But that's a dub for us, right?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of just like, okay,
Yeah. So it was cool. We got to spend some time
thanks.
together in California, in San Francisco, and in LA. And for me, like my most memorable part was our day trip in Golden Gate Park. So
Mm.
I'll give a little pitch. I'll let our listeners slash viewers like kind of imagine what was going down. So we started off in Haight Ashtonbury, diba? So like very very aesthetic. A lot of wall art. Very
Hipster.
hipster, like Cali baby, all that jazz. And yeah, we got some coffee, enjoyed the art, and got some fresh strawberries and sandwiches in Whole Foods. And Whole Foods is awesome, a lot of fresh produce,
Yeah,
and we were super hyped for this. And at the end of Haight Ashtonbury, it's the start of Golden Gate Park. So
yeah.
our plan was really to go to Golden Gate Park, and we thought it would be a great idea to rent a bike, but cute and efficient, so we get to explore most of Golden
Oh
Gate Park. And we were choosing our bikes na, and then at the very end, we saw a dual bicycle, and we were like, "Pare, that would be fucking cute if we were in a dual bicycle, diba? Tandem bike, like two of us in one bike. Our pics would be cute. We'd look hella
uh,
cute. We thought it was such a good idea, but little did we know that only the front seat does most of the work. So, syempre, I was in the front seat, fucking grinding my ass off, like parang like you're in a cycling class, like your butt is off the seat, it's bouncing now because you gotta put full strength, and you see Mikey in the back,
oh
just
my
like wow,
god.
ganda, like wow, it's so nice.
guys, guys, wait, guys. Best believe I was literally making moony moony there, taking my selfies. At one point, I didn't even need to hold like the bars. And I remember, I was like, wow, super pressed. I removed my jacket because SF is kind of cold.
Yeah,
And then I accidentally nudged your back, and I felt you were so basa, as in pawis. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? How come I'm not sweating one bit?
dude, and then like, I mean, mind you, that
No, I think
San Francisco was cold at the time. It was like 18 degrees, and I was wet as if I just came out of a shower, and it was exhausted. So like, yeah, so
oh, so good, so
couples out
good.
there, if you think that it would be cute or whatever to rent a dual bicycle, tandem bicycle, think again. That's all I'm gonna say. And then, so after getting gas from the grind of pedaling for two people, we decided to stop in Hippie Hill, which is like this large hill in Golden Gate Park, overlooking. I think it was like a chapel of some sort. And it
Yeah,
was like super nice, a lot of people on it, great 18-degree crisp weather with the sun out, and with that soft foreigner grass. I don't even know what type of grass that is, but it was amazing to sit on. And voila, dude, super good vibes. Just super beautiful day, good tunes, good food, and of course, great company. So, not super eventful, but for me, that was like one of the more memorable days that we had.
it's true actually.
Yeah.
And I remember actually taking a lot of photos there, and I took a photo of that tandem bike. And I remember telling you like do you want to switch? And then I remember I tried going like in the
It
front.
wasn't gonna work.
Di
It wasn't gonna
kaya.
work. Yeah.
Di kaya. I would
Really
be carrying
tired.
your weight.
Yeah,
So it was just meant for you to pull me.
dude.
I mean,
My
in
legs were like
fairness,
swole
I
after that.
at least that was one of our like what? That was one of your maybe like only workouts since
Yeah.
I arrived.
Yeah,
So
because we kept saying that we were gonna work out and never did. Um,
that's still like that was still a pro on your end, like
yeah,
body wise. So
yeah,
you're welcome.
yeah.
That's all.
I guess they do. And I got a really cool shirt out of that because since my shirt was so basa, I had to buy a shirt because it was like no way that it could dry up in the amount of time. So I went into one of those thrift shops in Haight Ashtonbury and I was able to cop a pretty sick Grateful Dead shirt. So yeah,
That
that
was a
was
nice shirt.
yeah, some good
That was a
memes,
nice
some
shirt.
good memes. But right, yeah, those are some of our memorable moments together, and we'll dive a little bit more into the fun facts of our relationship right after the break. With everyone spicing their work from home setup, you reach a point wherein there are only so many plants or LED lights that you could stick around your room. Now, how do you modify your room by making it more aesthetic or more you? Get Sonified. Sonified is a local shop that creates custom made album art plaques for your home. Known as the modern vinyl, Sonified makes premium acrylic furniture of your favorite album or song to make your home more personal. Sonify fills your room with music both in the auditory and physical form. Each plaque comes with a unique soundbar that you can scan using Spotify to play your favorite bangers. If you want to order your own plaque, you can find Sonified on Instagram and Facebook under sonified.ph or text them at 0905 493 3715. That's 0905 439 3715 for Sonified. Get grooving with Sonified PH. And we're back. All right, so one of the questions that Mikey and I get asked a lot is how do you balance grad school and a relationship? So, med school is hard enough as it is, and so is vet school. And, may time pa ba na magka-jowa, di ba? Like, that's what a lot of people ask, akads or jowa, di ba? Like, that's a pretty frequent meme that a lot of the grad school students use. So, I guess I wanted to ask you, like, personally, like, how do you think or what methods do you use to balance out, I guess, school and the relationship that we have?
Well, I think I mean going back kasi we were never really the type to see each other every day. And that's because we really have different paths, dude. Like,
Yeah,
think about it. You went to Ateneo, you went to UP, and now you're in UP again. I mean, yeah, I went to the South, but see, it's like still it's far
yeah.
from like
It's always been like semi
you.
long
It's
distance.
always just been like that. So we're very much used to like the distance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering the fact that we see each other at least once a week. Um, I think one main thing that really helps me is okay, aside from the fact that we kind of have the same track, very sciencey, our
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds,
Yeah,
is knowing that like I think it's just knowing that we both have to study every day and we communicate very often. Like we've kind of adapted well, in fairness.
yeah,
Like I remember when we started off, we were like my phone was beeping every 10 seconds, you know?
yeah,
Now it's like, oh shucks. And then I open it. Oh, it's just a meme. So I reply with a meme. Like
yeah,
now it's like that. And I think the fact that we can study and have chill times and balance our schedule weekly to make time for each other is how I think I've been coping because it's also helpful that you also plan your schedule, dude. That's why yesterday when you told me that you were fixing your schedule, I was like, oh, I'm so kilig, dude. I love it when a man fixes his schedule. So yeah, like I think it's that. I think it's the fact that we communicate well when it comes to our scheduling and when it comes to making time for each other.
yeah. That's very
Yeah.
true, and that's actually my answer as well. It's because like ever
Mm-hmm.
since we were friends. I went, yeah, like you said, I was in Ateneo, then we went to UP, and you live in the
Mm-hmm.
south, I live in Makati. It's always been you know not the most convenient thing to be able to see each other.
Yeah.
Like we really have to schedule it out, and little do we know that it would be such an important factor when we got here to med school or grad school, vet school for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really just factoring the amount of time that we need to spend together. So we know that we need to see each other about every week, but we also know that we have our responsibilities on the other hand. So it's like like I think the way that we work is we really need to schedule the times that we are going to see each other, like at least maybe
Mm-hmm.
2 days in advance, latest one day. It's like rare, like I don't even remember the last time actually we hung out, like spontaneous, like on the day itself, like yo, you free? Oh, I'm free too, diba? It's like more often than not it's kind of like we talk about it at least the night before, diba? And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, I think I think it's also because maybe the last time that has ever happened was when I was still studying in DLSU, and I'd be like, "Are you home? Because I'm stuck in traffic. Can I go to
oh
mom?"
yeah.
Like that's pretty much it. I think those are the last times I remember going. Okay, I'm gonna go to you first. It's gonna take me 2 hours to get
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, but as of late, diba,
Yeah.
it's like you really have to like schedule it in. And
Yeah.
with
Of
all of
course.
these responsibilities that the both of us have, you really need to, factor into your schedule the time that you need to make for your significant other. And, just like scheduling your classes or assignments, the time together is just as important to plan ahead of time and, dedicate whether that be rest time or just time to see each other. So I think the way that we work is if we see each other once a week lang, we try as much as possible to be as free as possible during that
Yeah.
time that we
Yeah.
hung out. Because I mean,
Yeah.
we're studying all the time, and imagine if we just come together and then we're studying again. Like sayang naman if we only see each other that one
Yeah.
week and then we're just doing the same thing that we're doing every single day. But like I think if we see each other more than once a week, then we also kind of need to, you know, work also during that time because both know that we have shit to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
there are some days that, especially if we see each
Yeah.
other
When
the second
like
time,
twice a week.
yeah,
Yeah, or twice a week. There's a day where we're working. There's a day where we're like, oh wait, I just have to do something really quick. You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean,
That's true.
yeah, as much as possible, you need to kind of separate that life from,
Mm-hmm.
as cliche as it sounds, work-life balance. But like, yeah, like you need to make sure that you have that time, I guess, for relaxing or for fun time, whether it's
Yeah.
Netflix or doing any other activities. Well, right now we're kind of limited to other activities, but yeah,
Of course.
like you need to factor that in. And I guess you also need to understand that the other person is also very busy and you have to make sacrifices. So although, like, for like, let's say hypothetically I'm only free on
Mm-hmm.
Friday, and
Mm-hmm.
you have, or no, let's look for a better day, like Wednesday. I'm only free Wednesday, but you have an exam on Thursday. You need to be able to make sacrifices for that other person's because schedules don't always work out perfectly for both parties, and you have to learn how to adjust. And you know we're saying this as med/grad students, but this applies for everyone else because everybody else has their own priorities and things they need to get to. And I personally believe that it should never be the case that you're sacrificing your personal or work life for the other person, diba? Because at the end of the day, you need to be, you know, and
You
as
are your own
you are
person
your own
at the
person.
end of the
At the
day,
end of
you
the day,
know?
yeah, you are your own person, and you want to bring out the best in that other person, and as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be a hindrance, diba? Like you don't want to
Of
be
course.
the reason why that other person didn't have enough time to study for the next exam, didn't have enough time to plan out that PowerPoint for the big presentation the next day,
Preach.
diba? So yeah, I mean,
Whew,
if this
rocket for
person,
president.
yeah, fuck Trump, fuck Biden, ako na lang. US citizen naman ako eh, pwede, pwede.
Kaya nga eh.
Roque,
Why not?
4044. Bank on it.
Oh Lord. We were wow.
I thought
But
I,
okay, I think I
yeah,
wanted
go
to
for it.
add
Yeah.
actually. I think another reason why we've been able to balance is I think it's one of our similar traits, which is working out, since we were athletes all our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's a part of our personal schedule then to study and to work out. And I think that also helps in a sense because there are times where you and I can actually work out together and put
Yeah.
it in our schedule. Hasn't happened as of late, but it did happen like mid pandemic
Yeah,
siguro, like the
mid-pandemic.
one.
Yeah, like once it
Yeah,
became
that
GCQ.
yeah. Yeah, wala lang. I just wanted to add that too. It's a
Yeah.
factor. It
Yeah.
helps.
It definitely helps that we're kind of into the same shit, like you said, sciences. And we are alike in very ways. Like you're in med school, I'm in vet school. We love to eat, we love to munch, we love to watch movies, we love to work out, like you said, and we also love our pets. So it just helps that
Uh-huh.
like our interests are aligned, so that
Yeah.
the time that we spend together, it doesn't feel like you're just dedicating that time for the other person. It's like you can still do the things that you enjoy, but in the other person's presence, which only really makes it better. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, although we have a lot of similarities, I think our personalities actually differ in many ways than other people think. Like everybody thinks na,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you guys always like the same shit. You guys have been together because you guys are so alike, so bagay, yada yada yada. But I guess I want to ask, what are the biggest differences between us?
Do you want to start, or am I gonna start?
I mean, I guess I could start. So para alternating tayo. Um,
Yeah, why not?
I guess like off the bat, it would be the levels of anxiety. And let me just
Mm.
expound on this before, them haters be like, oh, Mikey's so anxious all the
Yeah,
time. Yeah, like let me expound. Let me
yeah.
expound. So
You gotta tell my fans
yeah,
the deeds,
your
dude.
fans. Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm watching out for the Mikey Atayde supporters.
Mga
But
best.
yeah,
Hashtag mga best.
yeah. Okay, so like on in general, I'm a very relaxed person. So like that doesn't really get anxious all the time. So I'm usually chill, happy go lucky, and more of in the flow type of person. And it may seem
Mm-hmm.
like a positive, but it also has its detriments. So like sometimes I don't really put enough importance or pressure on myself to get shit done. Like I'm always like, oh, I can do it the next day. Oh, like well, I can just do it, later. I'm really that type of personality. Like everything's gonna be okay because I can do it later. I can do it tomorrow, and I don't put enough importance to situations because I'm just the type to let things figure it out for itself. And Mike's the man. She gets easily agitated and can overthink a lot of situations. And, that's kind of like your flight or fight response, helping you bring some
Mm-hmm.
urgency to your life. So, although it sucks sometimes because there's some occurrences that shouldn't be such a big deal, but for some reason is a big deal for you, um, it could also be a good thing because like when you do stress about the things, more often than not these things are things that need to be stressed about. Like these are important things that need to be solved. And like whether it's regards the planning, like you tend to like take over planning because at the end of the day, like like just for example, whenever we go on beach trips, she's usually the one that takes the charge in planning. And before beach trips, you're always like, with friends, it's like, oh no, it's okay, we'll figure it out. And then when you get there, you're just like, oh shit, where's the food? Do we plan for the food? Where's the sunblock? Oh shit, we're gonna get sunog and all that stuff. But since Mikey stressed about that 2 weeks ago, it's not a problem anymore. And personally, like she helps me be more attentive to my responsibilities, whether it be my personal responsibilities, group responsibilities, professional life responsibilities, and that anxiety can be useful also. So I guess this dynamic kind of helps the two of us because like I help you relax sometimes when it's some stuff that doesn't really need to be stressed about at the moment. Like when there's some things that you're like super affected by or you get anxious about, and then like I help you relax a little bit. But at the same time, when there's some things where I'm too chill about, I'm like, oh no, I'll figure it out. You're the one to kind of like bring me back in line and say like, you got to figure this shit out now because if not, it's gonna bite you in the butt. And yeah, it's a big difference between the two of us, but it's a very useful dynamic on both parties. Does that sound fair?
It did. It did. No, actually, it's funny because I didn't even think about that until I realized that. Like when you applied for school,
Yeah.
remember that night when I texted you at 2:30, dude, guess what? Then I have all the details in
Yeah.
line, and it was due in the next what day or two,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
had to go
Yeah.
all the way to Las Barrios. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that mine was more of I panicked for you in that sense because you were
Yeah.
writing that out. You were kind of like
Yeah.
shucks, okay,
I was
maybe like
like, all
next
right,
year.
yeah, maybe next year, bahala na. I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. That's just my personality. Yeah. I'm really just like,
I
if it
know.
happens, it
Go with
happens.
the
But
flow.
like,
Yeah.
if it weren't for you, then maybe I probably wouldn't have gotten into vet school because you found a friend that was in vet school who really helped me out. And I knew no
Yeah.
one in Los Baños. So if it weren't for you, then yeah. So it kind of helps both ways. What about you? What would you say is your um, the biggest difference between the
Mhm.
two of
Our
us?
biggest difference.
Yeah.
What I thought about actually, like initially, was actually like it's kind of like the way we were both raised.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we do have many similarities, like you said earlier, but the differences that I could notice would probably be. I get it's related to food. I love telling people this story,
Yeah.
but to all my fans, I was eating like chicken nuggets all my life until I
Uh-huh.
met this man.
Truth.
It's true. I was because my parents never really forced us to eat all the things that we should learn to eat as a kid. It was always spam. It was always well, like I said, chicken
Spam
nuggets. It
that
was
you'd
always
call pizza.
yeah. Because my yaya was like, "You want to eat pizza?" And I really love pizza, so she would call everything pizza. And I don't know why. I'd just fall for it and say, "Oh, okay, this is pizza."
Yeah. So
You
for the
know.
longest time, she
I,
thought spam was pizza.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways, yeah. Back on
anyways,
topic.
back in topic. I mean, like everyone was raised differently, and I guess if there's one significant thing, would probably be like one of the first times I ate in your house, and your mom was like serving salad, and I was looking at you, and I was like, "Am I gonna do this? Am I ready for this?" But I actually had no choice because it was. I think you got it, and you put it on my plate, and you were like, "Just try it," and I was like,
Yeah.
I remember I was shaking, I was sweating in parts I didn't want to sweat in. I was like, "Shucks, I have to eat leaves." And I
Mhm.
remember like the traumatizing moments where I'd eat gulay before. I remember I went to a classmate's house and her mom was like putting it on my plate and watching me. I remember, I think that's what traumatized me the most. But when you told me that it was okay and that I should try it, I remember after that day, I would have salads twice a week.
Mhm.
And it
Proud.
became a big part. Yeah, no, it became a big part of my life because I started eating a lot of things, like a lot of not an exotic, like almost there, Segura, but there are a lot of things that you have made me tried that I actually do enjoy. Like I remember there's this time that you didn't tell me what I was eating. I don't know, I was just super hungry. Then you were like, try this, try that. And at the very end of everything, you were like, oh, you just ate this. And it's like a weird thing
Yeah.
that
I
nobody really
remember
eats.
that
And I'm like,
actually. It was unagi. It was unagi. So it's eel, Japanese eel,
ah,
Japanese
yeah,
oburi
see. Yeah,
eel.
yeah.
So it was inside the maki, and I ordered it with because like Mikey was like order whatever you want. So I was like okay. So I ordered maki with
Mm-hmm.
unagi, and she hated unagi. She hated the texture of it, and understandably so. It's like it's one of the more advanced foods, and yeah. So it was inside the maki,
Advanced.
and she enjoyed it. And then at the very end, I was like, you just ate unagi, and she's like, wow, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. See, like stuff like that. Because yeah, no, I think it really plays a factor now with like the way we were raised. And I find it very cool now that I can eat maybe like a normal person because I was really, really a picky eater. Like
Yeah,
those things on Facebook where you see like tally how many things you can
yeah,
eat.
yeah,
I would always tally so many things and it would be like I don't know, like 80 over 100. And you would be like, oh, mine's just like 7. And I'm just like, what?
yeah.
What?
I'm like a
Yeah,
garbage
I
man,
know.
bro. I eat everything.
No,
Most things, most things.
it's very nice. I
Yeah,
mean, I would want to be that. Like now that I've reached this point where I can eat like everything else comfortably, it's kind of like it's a nice thing.
it is. It
You kind of
definitely is.
you get to explore, especially in Japan. My gosh, because of you, I can eat a lot of things now.
Yeah,
So every time I travel to Japan, it would always be like, oh my god,
because
this is
Japan's
great.
food's lit, dude. It's so good.
Yeah,
Best food in the world. That's for sure.
yeah.
And
So yeah, I think that was I think that's like our biggest, like one of the biggest difference that I initially thought of.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it stacks up the man. All right, so yeah, we've had our differences and we've been together for a while. It's not always been ups and
Mm-hmm.
downs, that's for sure. Like although we've never actually broken up, we're not really one of those relationships that break up
Mm-hmm.
and get back together a lot. We've definitely had some rough patches as well, and it's all a part of it. I mean, that's really what relationships
Yeah.
are. It's really like a roller coaster. It's like a fire. Sometimes it's raging, sometimes it's not. And I guess for my last question, I just want to ask for those people who are just getting into relationships or who never really had a long term relationship like we did. 5 years is a long time. 5.5 is a long time. What would be a tip that you'd give to like the listeners, yung mga Mikey at Atayde fans?
I don't really have fans, huh? Like I'm
I
just
know.
playing with
I'm
it.
just milking it. I'm just milking it.
I'm just okay. Thanks for your support. Okay. Anyways, so three things I could think of. I think I've mentioned it earlier. Also, would be communicate. Communication is a big portion. You mentioned this too. Understanding. Understanding both sides, and I think having patience is a big factor because okay, for communication, if there's one thing you do know is that I love updates. I can just live with us talking about updating each other all day, and that's fine with me. I like to know, like, especially since you and I don't get to hang out often, like as often as we'd like. It's like I just appreciate the fact that you tell me what's up, and I'm already good. Like you can
Yeah.
legit tell me, oh, I like kanina, I just finished two Quizlets, and I'm just like, hey, that's great.
Yeah.
I should do something about that. Like I should start reading more now. Like, it's also like a nice thing because it also reminds me, since you and I are also doing more or less the same things too, it kind of reminds me na, oh, he did that. I should do this now. So I think it's kind of cool. Like communication is a big factor. And I think that also goes with like understanding. So when you update me, right, when you update me that you're gonna do this, or like how now we just say good morning and then out of nowhere it's like, oh, it's lunch break.
Yeah.
You
Pretty
know how that
much.
works now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of like it comes with understanding. So in the morning itself we have our own routines, and the fact that you understand mine and I understand yours plays a big role also in how our dynamic works. And I guess to add na nga then, like I mentioned earlier, patience. When you and I get into like maybe like our small arguments, not any I can think of right now, siguro, but if we come into that, what I do appreciate is the fact that we can just pause for a bit, and when whoever is at fault can, listen to the person who is hurt, and we can like actually reason it out. Unlike before where it was always just like, I'm just not gonna talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Like
sure.
having patience is a big factor, I believe. Like if you don't understand what's going on with me, at least you're very good at listening. You take your time to actually hear me out,
Yeah.
and I think that's a really, really big factor.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And that super makes sense. Like all like couples, regardless of how long you are, you need to have those uncomfortable like conversations. And
Yeah.
like at the start when we just started out, we were kind of avoiding that. Well, maybe I was
Yeah.
avoiding it as much as possible
Mm,
because I really didn't
yeah.
really like, I'm really not the type that likes conversation, like confrontation. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier, I'm
Yeah.
like more
Yeah.
of a happy go
Yeah.
lucky
You're
guy.
not.
So it's
You're
like
not
my
confrontational.
philosophy is like, if you're not gonna say anything nice, don't say anything at all. But
Oh yeah. My God, you were like that. Grabe.
I
Like
still am kind of like that.
yeah, yeah, you are. You're like the, you tend to bottle things up, but it's
Yeah,
okay. Go
and
on.
I learned
Go
that, yeah,
on.
that's not the best thing to do also, because it's healthy to
No.
have these like tough conversations with each other. And like I guess it's just important that when you do have these conversations with each other, just don't say anything that you'll regret. you know like you're feeling a lot of emotions right now, whether it be anger or pain or betrayal. Like, just don't say anything that you'll regret, because that's really what's gonna spark your, like, the real problems. It's like based on what you say. And I still personally believe think that when you are at a heated conversation, you still do need a little bit of time just to
Yeah.
let the tempers like tone down a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just like, give yourself a little bit time to understand, because communication is key. But don't avoid that conversation. Like, you should give yourself like time to like kind of I guess, process what's going on and process what you're feeling. And then you need to have that conversation. Because if you just sweep it under the rug, then that's just gonna build up for your next fight. And yeah, I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really important. And yeah, I super agree with that. So
Those arguments where it's like, remember that thing you did to me 3 years ago?
yeah, I mean, that's
Like,
another
remember
thing.
the
Don't
time
hold
you
grudges.
don't
Like
hold grudge.
the problem is right now,
So
and
good.
that's why you need to have those healthy conversations, because it kind of eliminates those grudges. Because if you kind of just bury it down the hatchet, the next time you fight, you have like ammunition to start like striking at the other person, and that's never a good thing when you're in a relationship. So yeah, like I super agree with those points. And you know, I guess my main tip would be, aside from all of the cliche ones, such as communication is key, be supportive, dedicate time for each other, make sacrifices. Those are all things that you normally hear. I think my tip would be to help bring out the best version of your partner out. Because, like, this is completely different from changing a person. This is not changing the person. This is like identifying the weaknesses of the other person and amongst each other. So, and if you could help your partner overcome it, then it will go a long way. So, like, girlfriends shouldn't be treated as queens, and boyfriends shouldn't be treated as kings all the time. Help each other point out the areas to improve on, but also praise at the same time the things that they do excel in. So, like, for me, although you are a couple, like you still are
Mm-hmm.
separate individuals. You're a team, and I think it's still really important to make each other grow independently, give each other that space to grow. Don't always do everything together. Like, although you are, like, in it for the long run, it's like you need to work to like symbiotically, like, because I mean, knock on wood, like, if one of us aren't here for each other in the
I'm
future, at least we know that we help set up that person for success.
mm-hmm.
We help bring out the best version of that person.
Stepping stone.
Yeah,
It's all
stepping stone,
about this.
diba?
Yeah, and I agree with that actually because I strongly believe in having like your own sense of self. Like, I mean, you know me, I'm very independent as it
Yeah,
is. I do a lot of things on my own, and I truly believe that like having your own sense of self and learning to grow, like you know how we talked about this, like you can grow, you can be with someone and still grow on your own, you
exactly.
know.
Like all that
And
whole,
I
like, I just need time to grow personally. That's bullshit. Well, I mean,
you said it, you said
maybe you're not in the right
it.
relationship that you're not allowed to
Yeah, that
grow.
too.
Maybe you're not in the right
That's
relationship,
true.
but I think if you think that this person is worth your time, then you should be able to grow independently. Like, it shouldn't be a
Exactly.
restriction. And, if that person isn't allowing you to do so, then maybe that person's not the right one for you. Diba? That's all I'm saying.
Malay
And
mo, malay mo.
yeah, like, I mean, this is your partner in your relationship, your best
Yeah.
friend. So it's not
Mhm.
always rainbows and butterflies. There are gonna be some lows and rough patches, but
That's
it's important to be
true.
that person for your partner through thick and thin. And like I said earlier, relationships are supposed to be symbiotic, where both parties benefit from each other's presence. So yeah, that's my tip. Okay,
I
ba?
vibe.
Okay.
Galing, galing, galing.
Thank you, thank you.
Preach.
All right, so
Preach to the people in
to
the
wrap up
back.
the pod, I like to ask my guests the question, medyo deep, and I know you know what's coming, but it's the question: what is your why?
Why?
What do you mean why? Because you can't.
So why do you do the
You
things you
know,
do every day? What keeps you
uh-huh.
motivated, and what is your reason to be?
Yeah, every time you ask your guest this question, I always try to think about my own why, and I always give up and think, I'll never have to explain that anyway. You already know what's
Wala,
up with me.
nako, ito na
So, yeah, kaya
on
nga
the
eh,
spotlight.
shucks. Okay, well, I guess I would think of two whys because you know how I am. I don't really think far out. I kind of like to focus on my current situation and then write it out from there. Like maybe think about like plus 5 years from now.
Live in the moment, carpe diem, bruh.
At to carpe diem.
Carpe diem,
No, but
baby.
my current why, I guess, is to be able to excel in where I am. am right now. Like I do the things I do every day to be able to be better at what I do. I mean, this is all like it's not fun and games anymore. It's the real world. We're
Yeah.
actually like on our final steps to being where we actually want to be. So my current why is to really do better than how I've been doing the past few years. Not just like in school, I guess, but I guess mentally. And I
Yeah.
think I don't want to brag, but I think you've seen that too.
Yeah, no,
Like
it's definitely been
I've grown a
supporting.
lot, and I think that's something the pandemic also helped me with, if anything. And I guess for the future, I really I don't want to say to be the best, but I want to be good at what I will choose to do, like what track I want to be, like what kind of doctor I want to be. I want to be able to achieve that goal of helping others, because I've always been the type of person, man. Like I kind of like helping others before myself. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, and I think for my future, why it would be to be able to be good at what I want to do and to be able to help the people around me.
Yeah, and that's a
Oh,
beautiful why. Yeah, damn, we're getting old,
felt
right?
yeah, I felt like you were asking me such a Miss Universe question.
Metro is actually like in a way,
Yeah, it
but
is.
yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. Improve yourself every day, whether it be in school,
Exactly.
whether it be your mental health. Very important, guys, to check in on your mental health nowadays. Ever since we've been stuck in quarantine times, but yeah, just I think that's great, and we kind of that's one philosophy I think that we've kind of shared as we got older.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Yeah.
be the best version of yourselves, and be that person, like me for you and you to me, to
Mm-hmm.
help each other achieve to become that best person that we can be. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. All right, so I guess I just want to wrap up the pod by saying thank you again for being on the show, Mike's. Honestly, had so much fun talking with you, as I always do, and learning a bit more about our you know our relationship dynamic as well. But before we go, I think
Mm-hmm.
now would be a perfect time for you to plug in where people can find you.
Oh man, I forgot
For the
this part.
fans, for the
Okay.
fans.
For the fans, I'm active on Instagram at Mikey Atayde. Facebook, it's actually Michaela Atayde. You know,
Long story.
change it up a bit.
Yeah.
Long story. Twitter, same thing, but I don't really tweet. So just, Instagram. Oh, and of course, check out this pod.
Hey, skirt, skirt. Well, if they made it this
So,
long, they must be pretty regular listeners, I guess.
sana naman. No, baka naman I'm spicing things up a bit.
Yeah, baka for your fans, Mikey Atayde fan club. But yeah,
My kinatics.
my Ginatics. Thank you, Dubs. Perfect. But
Dubs.
yeah, I think that about does it. I want to thank you all listeners for tuning in to another episode of the Rockets Modern Life podcast. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that follow on Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram so that you never miss an episode. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one. Deuces.